I never thought coming back would feel like stepping into a storm I didn't see coming. As the taxi pulled up to Emily's street, my heart hammered with a mix of excitement and nerves. I rehearsed my greeting a dozen times. "Hey, Emily. I'm back." I smiled to myself, imagining the hug, the laughter, the warmth I'd missed. I rang the doorbell. The sound echoed in my chest. When the door opened, I froze. She wasn't alone. "Hi, can I help you?" a man asked, tall, calm, polite. I'm here for Emily," I said, trying to steady my voice. He tilted his head, a kind but cautious smile forming. "I'm Mark, Emily's husband. Are you a friend?" My stomach dropped. "Husband? My Emily married?" I mean, we know each other," I stammered, suddenly unsure of what words could even explain this betrayal. Emily stepped forward then, holding a small child in her arms. My chest tightened. "My Emily, a mother." "Michael," she whispered. Her voice trembled slightly, but her eyes didn't hold the sparkle I remembered. I swallowed hard. "Emily, you're married?" She hesitated, eyes darting to Mark. "Yes. I didn't know how to tell you." "Didn't know how to tell me?" My voice cracked, and I had to force it back down. You've been married all this time?" I didn't want to hurt you," she said softly, avoiding my gaze. "Not hurt me? Emily, I came back for you." I shouted, though I immediately regretted it. The child clutched her finger, looking at me with innocent curiosity. I forced a smile at the kid. Mark cleared his throat politely. "Maybe we should talk later." She wasn't expecting you today." "Later? Later," I muttered under my breath. "You knew I was coming, Emily." I didn't know exactly when," she said, her voice breaking. "I wanted to prepare, to make it right somehow. I wanted to scream, to cry, to shake her, to ask 1,000 questions at once. But instead, I nodded numbly. "Right. Okay. I'll just go to my old room." I walked past them, every step heavier than the last. I closed the door behind me and sank onto my childhood bed. Memories hit me in waves, our late-night talks, our laughter under the stars, the promises we made. All of it gone, buried under her new life. I whispered into the emptiness of the room. Was it all a lie? Did I misread everything? I could still hear her voice from the doorway. "Michael, I can't. I just need a moment," I interrupted softly, not ready to face her. I buried my face in my hands, trying to hold back tears, but the dam broke. I cried silently, choking on the heartbreak that had grown inside me for months without warning. I felt angry, betrayed, lost. How could she, my Emily, move on while I was away, believing in us, planning our future? A small voice echoed in my mind. "You need answers. You need the truth." I wiped my eyes, sitting up slowly. My fingers trembled as I clenched them into fists. "I'll find out why she chose this life without me," I whispered, determination sparking through the pain. The room felt colder than ever. Outside, I could hear the muffled sound of laughter from the living room. Mark's laughter, Emily's laughter. It should have been the sound of happiness. Instead, it was a knife twisting in my chest. I leaned against the wall, staring at the ceiling, heart still pounding. I came back for her, and she's gone. But I won't let this break me completely. I'll get the answers, no matter what. And for the first time since I walked through that door, I felt a spark of resolve amid the storm of heartbreak. I waited outside her apartment for what felt like hours, though it was probably only 15 minutes. My chest throbbed with anticipation and dread, every nerve screaming at me not to go in. But I couldn't stay outside forever. I had to hear it from her. The door opened, and Emily appeared, holding her child. She froze for a second, like she wasn't sure I belonged there. "Michael," she started, her voice soft, careful. "Emily," I said, my voice tighter than I wanted. "We need to talk. Now." She glanced at Mark behind her, who gave me a polite nod, oblivious to the storm I carried inside me. I don't know if," Emily began, but I cut her off. "Don't start with excuses. I need to understand. Why? How could you?" "I didn't mean for it to happen like this," she said quickly, almost pleading. "Long distance, it changed things for me. I felt so alone, Michael. You were gone, and I didn't know how to reach you. I felt my throat tighten. Alone? I was planning for us. Everything I did was for us. And you just moved on. I didn't want to hurt you," she whispered, looking down at her child. "I tried to make it right, but I didn't know how to tell you everything. I was scared you'd hate me." "Scared I'd hate you?" I scoffed bitterly. "Emily, I would have understood anything if you had just been honest." Even if it was hard, I needed the truth. She swallowed hard. I know. I should have told you. I should have fought to make it work. But I panicked. I made a choice I regret. Regret? I asked, voice breaking. You think saying you regret it fixes this? You're married, Emily. You have a child. Do you even understand what that feels like for me? I do, she said softly, tears welling in her eyes. Every day I think about how I hurt you. I never wanted this pain for you. Mark cleared his throat behind her. Maybe I should take the little one for a walk, give you two some space, he offered kindly. I looked at him, a polite stranger in the middle of my private nightmare. Yes, that's fine, Emily said quickly, ushering him out the door. The silence after he left was unbearable. My chest ached as I tried to calm the storm inside me. Emily, I loved you. I trusted you. And now, I trailed off, my voice trembling. Now I'm just lost. I know, Michael, she whispered. I don't expect forgiveness. I wanted you to know why. Not to justify it, just to explain. Her honesty cut me deeper than any lie could. I wanted to scream, to shake her, to demand everything back, but all I could do was stand there, watching her, noticing how happy she seemed in this life that wasn't mine. It twisted something dark in me. Envy, bitterness, a hollow ache. I wish I could go back, I murmured. I wish I could do things differently. But we can't. I know, she said quietly. And I hope someday you can understand why I did what I did. I wanted to tell her I'd never understand. I wanted to accuse her of betrayal. But the words stuck in my throat. Instead, I nodded, swallowed hard, and turned to leave. The night air hit me like a punch. I wandered the streets alone, my mind replaying every memory, every laugh, every argument, every promise. My hands shoved deep into my pockets, and I muttered to myself, why did it have to end like this? Why now? I passed our old library, our cafe, the park bench where we'd shared secrets under the stars. Every place held a fragment of us, and every fragment burned inside me. I whispered into the cold night, my voice hoarse and broken. I trusted you, Emily. I believed in us. And now, I'm just left with this emptiness. Somewhere in the distance, laughter echoed. A couple walking hand in hand, unaware of the lives shattered around them. I forced myself to breathe, trying to let the pain roll over me without drowning me. I can't stay here, I muttered. I can't live in the past. I need something. I don't know what yet, but I can't keep wandering like this. The city lights reflected off wet streets as I walked aimlessly, each step a reminder of all I had lost and all I had yet to understand. My shadow stretched long and thin, like the distance now between Emily and me, between the life I dreamed of and the reality I was forced to face. I'll figure it out, I whispered to no one, gripping my coat tighter against the cold. I'll get my answers, even if it destroys me. And for the first time that night, the ache in my chest became a spark. A spark that whispered, don't give up. You deserve the truth. I left Emily's house feeling like a ghost walking through a world that no longer recognized me. Every street corner, every cafe, every park bench reminded me of her. I stopped in front of our old coffee shop and ran my hand over the familiar sign. Hey, stranger, a voice said, startling me. I turned to see Liam leaning against the doorway, a grin on his face that didn't reach his eyes. Liam, I muttered. Didn't expect to see anyone I know here. You look like hell, he said bluntly, eyes scanning me. What happened? I shook my head. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Try me, he pressed, stepping closer. I let out a shaky breath. Emily, she's married. And she has a kid. Liam blinked, then frowned. Wait, you're Emily? Married? How? I don't know. I just got back from the UK, and my voice cracked. And she's just gone from my life. He clapped a hand on my shoulder. Damn, man. That's rough. Did she tell you why? No, I whispered. Not a word. I tried to talk to her, and it was like I was invisible in her new life. Liam nodded slowly. I was afraid of that. I heard some things, people saying she got married while you were away. I clenched my fists. Why didn't she tell me? Did she ever care? She cared, Liam said firmly. But maybe she was scared, confused, maybe she made mistakes. I laughed bitterly. Mistakes? She's living the life I imagined with her. That's not a mistake. That's betrayal. Or maybe it's just life, Liam replied softly. You weren't there, and things changed. Doesn't mean she stopped caring entirely. I looked away, the memories of our last conversation hitting me. I could still hear her voice. I don't know if we can do long distance, Michael. It's hard. I had laughed it off, thinking it was just temporary stress. Did I push her away without realizing it? I asked, voice barely audible. Was I the one who caused this? Liam shook his head. Stop blaming yourself. You were gone for a reason. You didn't know. You can't live in the past. I can't just stop thinking about her, I said, staring at the cafe's empty chairs. Every corner of this city reminds me of her. Every laugh, every glance, everything she's ever been to me. You need to get it out of your system, Liam said. Write it down. Don't hold back. Don't send it just right. I hesitated, then pulled out my phone. You really think writing a letter will help? It will, he said. Trust me. Don't worry about her seeing it. It's for you. I opened a blank note and typed furiously. Emily, I came back believing in us, believing in you. Believing in everything we said we'd be. Did I misunderstand you? Did I miss the signs? Liam leaned back, sipping his coffee silently. I kept typing, pouring every ounce of my pain, anger, confusion into the letter. You married while I was away, had a child, and left me standing outside your life. Did you ever love me? Did I mean nothing? I paused, staring at the screen, trembling. It feels good, just letting it out, I said softly. You're allowed to feel everything, Liam said. Anger, hurt, betrayal, it's all valid. Just don't let it consume you. I nodded, pressing a kiss to the phone screen, as if it could somehow reach her. I need answers, Liam. And I need to understand why she did this. I trusted her with everything. She probably never wanted to hurt you, Liam said quietly. Sometimes people make choices for reasons they can't even explain, and the ones they love get caught in the middle. I sighed and stared at the letter, letting the weight of my emotions sink in. I guess writing it down is the first step. First step to figuring this out. Liam clapped my back gently. Then you've started. Don't stop now. Face the truth, whatever it is. I looked out the cafe window at the streets we had walked together so many times, at the parks we'd sat in, at the library where we'd spent hours laughing and whispering secrets. It all felt hollow now. But for the first time since I returned, I felt a sliver of clarity. I couldn't change the past, but I could start untangling the pain, piece by piece. And maybe, just maybe, I could find the truth behind her choices. I paced my small apartment, the shadows of the room stretching long under the dim lamp. The anger inside me had cooled slightly, but it was replaced by something sharper, something dangerous. They think everything is perfect, I muttered, staring at my hands. Emily, Mark, their little world. No one knows the truth. I grabbed my phone and scrolled through social media, seeing photos of her smiling, holding her child, living the life that should have been ours. My fingers tightened around the device. Maybe people should know, I whispered. Not to hurt her, but to see what she's really done. To make her feel consequences. I called Liam, hoping he'd talk sense into me. Hey, he answered, voice calm. Liam, I don't know what to do, I said. I keep thinking, should I expose her? Make her face what she did? Michael, don't even think about it, he said sharply. That's not justice. That's revenge. And it'll destroy you more than her. But she left me. I cut myself off. I trusted her. I gave everything, and I get it, Liam interrupted gently. But really think. Do you want to ruin her life, or do you want to heal yours? Because you can't do both. I can't just move on, I whispered, pacing again. Not when she's happy. Not when I'm here, empty. Then don't act on anger, Liam said. Use it to grow. Don't let hatred eat you alive. I hung up and stared at the ceiling, mind racing. Every interaction I could engineer, every subtle nudge. I imagined them carefully. Maybe a few hints dropped to her friends, a whispered conversation to someone who admired her. Nothing overt, just enough to make her question her choices. I want her to feel a shadow of the pain she caused, I murmured. Not ruined, just questioned. Just like I am. I opened my laptop and typed a note, jotting ideas for subtle ways to test the boundaries. A casual mention here, an accidental slip there, nothing direct. Just enough to make her life tremble slightly. A neighbor, Mrs. Harper, popped her head into the hallway. Michael, are you okay? You've been pacing all evening. I forced a smile. I'm fine, just thinking, Mrs. Harper. You're sure? You look troubled. I'll be okay, I said, closing the door quickly. My mind spun faster. What if she found out? Would Mark notice? Would it hurt her? Maybe. And maybe it would. I sat down, gripping the edge of the table. I have to be careful. I can't let this turn into hatred. But some karma has to happen. She can't just get away with this. My phone buzzed with a message from Liam. Don't lose yourself, Michael. Don't let this destroy your soul. I stared at it, guilt pricking my conscience. I'm not going to lose myself. I'll just test the waters. I imagined Emily laughing at a dinner party, friends complimenting her choices, unaware of the quiet ripple I might cause. Just a shadow, I whispered. Nothing more. But deep down, I knew the line between shadow and ruin was thin. My stomach twisted as I considered the possibilities, the consequences. Is it worth it? I muttered aloud. Or should I just walk away? Forget her. I shook my head. I can't. Not yet. Not until I understand why. Not until I see the truth reflected back. She has to see that choices have weight, consequences, even small ones. The night pressed in around me. Streetlights glowed through the window, flickering like the doubts in my mind. Every plan, every subtle hint I considered, came with a price. And yet, part of me felt alive for the first time since seeing her again. The spark of anger, of betrayal, of moral justice, it kept me awake, alert, calculating. I whispered to myself, this isn't hate. Not yet. This is understanding. Justice. Karma. I'll make sure she realizes, in her own way, just enough to know. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the blank wall. Somewhere deep inside, I promised myself I wouldn't lose who I am. But I also wouldn't let her life continue untouched while mine shattered. And with that thought, I closed the laptop, a quiet fire burning behind my eyes. I found myself at the park where Emily often met her friends, pretending to be casual, blending in. My eyes searched for her familiar laughter, the warmth I once knew. Michael? Is that you? A voice called. I turned to see Anna, one of Emily's old friends, smiling nervously. Hey, yeah, it's me, I said, forcing a casual tone. I was passing by. Emily's inside, Anna said, glancing around, almost guilty. She's busy, you know how it is. I nodded slowly, watching the group through the glass windows of the cafe. I noticed a small tension as Emily spoke, her smile slightly forced, her gestures a little sharp. A flash of satisfaction hit me, quickly mixed with guilt. So she's really married? Anna asked hesitantly, leaning closer. I mean, it seemed sudden. We barely knew about Mark. Yeah, I said quietly, keeping my voice low. It was a shock. She looks happy though, Anna whispered. But sometimes, I think she misses the old days. Or maybe she's hiding something. You know Emily. I swallowed, a mix of curiosity and bitterness rising. Hiding something? Anna shook her head. I don't know. Just, sometimes she gets quiet, distant. And she's very careful who sees her upset. I felt a strange tug in my chest. Part of me felt guilty, like I shouldn't be eavesdropping. Another part, darker, thrilled at seeing that her life might not be perfect after all. Do you think she regrets anything? Anna asked softly. I don't know, I said, my voice tight. Maybe she's just adjusting. Life isn't easy. I leaned against the wall, memories surfacing. I remembered our late-night walks, the way she laughed when I made a fool of myself, the promises we whispered under the stars. I remembered every word I'd trusted, every secret she'd shared. I had loved her without hesitation, without doubt. And now, that love felt like a weapon pointed at my own heart. A man I didn't recognize approached, holding a small notebook. Excuse me, are you Michael? Yes, I said cautiously. I'm Tom, Emily's cousin. She mentioned you might be back. Art, are you okay? I hesitated. I'm getting there. I just needed to see the world she's in now. Tom nodded slowly, his gaze steady. You know, life isn't as perfect as it looks. Emily, she struggles. You wouldn't notice because she's good at hiding it, but she isn't always happy. I felt a surge of conflicted feelings, satisfaction, guilt, anger, nostalgia, all twisting together. I see, I said quietly, biting my lip. I guess I imagine things differently. Some things you can't imagine until you're in them, Tom said softly. Just take care of yourself, okay? I nodded again, turning to leave. My steps were heavy, but a strange clarity accompanied them. I couldn't change the past. I couldn't bring back what I had lost. But seeing the cracks in her life, it reminded me that control could still be mine. I didn't need to ruin her. I needed to reclaim my own life. Walking past the old library, I paused, memories washing over me. I remembered how she'd leaned on me when she was scared, how I'd stayed awake through sleepless nights listening to her fears, how I'd believed in her unconditionally. Those were the moments that shaped me, the moments that made my heart ache even more now. I whispered to myself, I loved her completely, and I trusted her completely. Maybe too much. But with that realization came resolve. I couldn't undo what had been done. I couldn't force her to see the pain she caused. What I could do was take my life back. Every choice, every step forward, that was mine. I walked toward the cafe exit, a quiet fire in my chest. I won't be defined by what she did or didn't do, I muttered. I'll be defined by what I choose now. And I choose me. The city lights flickered across the wet pavement, reflecting my determination. Shadows of the past clung to me, whispering memories, regrets, and losses, but I was no longer lost. I could see a path forward, even if it was hard, even if it was painful. Somewhere deep inside, I smiled faintly, the first real smile in days. Not because of her suffering, not because of her mistakes, but because I had found the smallest piece of freedom amidst the ruins of my heart. And with that, I stepped into the night, ready to reclaim the life that had been waiting for me all along. I walked into the office on Monday morning, trying to shake off the remnants of last night's restlessness. Liam's advice kept echoing in my mind. Focus on yourself. Don't let her shadow control your life. Morning, Michael, called out Sarah, one of my new colleagues, bright and cheerful. Coffee before the meeting? Yeah, thanks, I said, forcing a small smile. Her energy was contagious, and I realized how much I'd been missing interactions like this while drowning in thoughts of Emily. Hey, I wanted to talk about the Henderson project, said Raj, leaning over my desk. You're leading the next phase, right? I nodded, feeling a spark of purpose. Yeah, I've drafted some ideas. Let's go through them. As we discussed work, I noticed the tension from the past week's loosening. I could think clearly, focus, and even enjoy the process. It was a strange but welcome feeling. Later, during lunch, Liam called. How's the rebuilding going? He asked. Better than I expected, I admitted. I'm actually enjoying being busy, talking to people. I feel like I'm finally moving. That's good, man. Just remember, progress doesn't mean forgetting. It means learning how to live with what happened, he said. I leaned back, watching a group of coworkers laugh. I know, and it's not about forgetting. It's about living, Liam. About taking control again. That evening, I passed Emily's street on my way home. Her lights were on, and through the window, I glimpsed a small argument between her and Mark. Nothing drastic, just a raised voice, gestures sharp and frustrated. I didn't linger, but a small, guilty satisfaction stirred in me. Karma, subtle but unmistakable. I shouldn't feel this, I muttered to myself. But I can't deny it. Life has its own way of balancing things. The following days blurred into work, calls with Liam, and reconnecting with old friends. I realized I had been so focused on Emily that I had neglected myself entirely. Now, I was building something solid, piece by piece. One night, after a productive meeting, Sarah and I walked back toward the subway. You've changed, she said, casual but sharp. There's confidence now. It suits you. I smiled faintly. I guess I had to hit rock bottom to notice it. Rock bottom is where most people stay, she said with a shrug. You're not like most people. Her words lingered, warming some corner of my heart that had been cold for months. I realized growth wasn't just about success. It was about connections, moments like this, the little victories. On Friday, Liam dragged me to a social event, a casual gathering for professionals in our field. I wasn't thrilled at first, but I went. It was crowded, noisy, and alive with energy. Relax, Liam said, handing me a drink. Just enjoy it. I moved through the crowd, listening to laughter and chatter, feeling normal, strong, whole. And then I saw her, Emily, across the room, laughing, holding her child Mark nearby. The familiar pang of emotion rose instantly, but it was muted, controlled. Michael, she said, her voice soft, almost hesitant. She stepped closer. Emily, I replied calmly. No cracks in my voice, no desperation. Just recognition. You look different, she said, smiling faintly. So do you, I said, careful. It looks like things are okay. They are, she said quickly, glancing at Mark. Busy, hectic, but okay. I nodded, looking past her at the crowd. I'm glad. There was a silence, heavy with unspoken words. I could see the tension, the old emotions hovering, but I felt separate from it. I realized I wasn't tethered to her happiness or her choices anymore. I was observing, not aching. Take care, Michael, she said, almost whispering, and then she moved back toward her group. I watched her go, and for the first time, I didn't feel emptiness. I felt power, control, the quiet triumph of reclaiming myself. I'd walked through heartbreak, betrayal, and anger, and now I stood taller. Not above her, not cruelly, just stronger. Ready to enjoy the rest of the night? Liam asked, nudging me. I smiled, turning toward the dance floor and the crowd of people who didn't know me, but were part of the life I was choosing. Yeah, I think I finally am. As the music played and laughter surrounded me, I realized something important. I could witness her life, subtle setbacks and all, and it wouldn't destroy me. I had grown, I had rebuilt, and while the past would always linger, it no longer defined me. And in that moment, standing in the midst of a crowd, I finally understood the difference between revenge and growth. One destroys, the other empowers. I took a deep breath and let the night carry me, feeling the tide finally turning in my favor. I hadn't expected to see her that evening. The streets were quiet, mist curling around the lampposts, and I was lost in thought, replaying the past, when I heard a soft voice call my name. Michael. I turned, heart skipping, and saw her, Emily. She looked smaller somehow, almost fragile, her eyes wide with something I hadn't seen in months. Uncertainty. Emily, I said cautiously, keeping my tone even. What are you doing here? I needed to see you, she said, stepping closer, hands twisting nervously. I've been thinking about everything. I leaned against the wall, arms crossed, studying her. You mean everything you did? My voice was calm, but sharp enough to slice through the tension. She flinched, biting her lip. Yes, I should have told you. I should have been honest before I left, before everything changed. And you weren't, I said softly. You chose someone else, someone I don't even know. And you married him. I know, she whispered, tears brimming. I was scared, Michael. Long distance, it was hard. I didn't know if we could survive it. And I thought I was doing the right thing. Doing the right thing? I echoed, my jaw tight. You think abandoning me, hiding your life, marrying him without a word, was the right thing? Her eyes shimmered. It wasn't right. I know that now. I was weak. I was scared. And I missed you more than I realized every day. But I didn't know how to fix it. I took a deep breath, staring at her, feeling the old mix of love and hurt rise like a tide. Emily, do you know what it felt like? Coming back after years of trusting you, only to see you with him? To see a life I imagined with you vanish like smoke. I can't imagine it, she said quietly. I'm so sorry. I never wanted to hurt you. I thought I was protecting both of us. And what about me? What about my life? I asked, my voice breaking just slightly. I spent months thinking, hoping, and you were living a whole other life. You didn't even give me a chance. I know, she whispered, looking down at her shoes. I was selfish. I see that now. I regret it every day. But I can't change what happened. I can only ask for your forgiveness if you can. I looked at her, really looked, and noticed the vulnerability beneath her polished exterior. She wasn't a villain, she was human, flawed, afraid, and full of regrets. And yet, I had changed too. I wasn't that broken boy anymore. I wasn't defined by her choices. I've grown, Emily, I said finally, my voice steady. I've learned that life doesn't wait for anyone. I've learned to rebuild myself. To find people who care about me, people who respect me. She nodded slowly. I see that. I can tell. You're different. Stronger. You're whole now. I am, I said, a faint edge of pride in my tone. And that's why this conversation is complicated. I feel your regret. I see your fear. I understand your choices, but I can't let them define me anymore. Her hands shook slightly. So you won't forgive me? I don't know if forgiveness is even necessary, I said honestly. Not for me, not for you. It's not about forgiving or not forgiving. It's about moving forward without letting the past control us. I loved you, Emily. I trusted you completely. And I still care. But caring doesn't mean I let myself get hurt again. Tears slid down her cheeks. I wish I could go back. You can't, I said softly. None of us can. What we can do is live better from now on. You've chosen a life, I've chosen mine. And we both have to respect that. She nodded, a single tear falling. I'm proud of you, Michael. Truly. I hope you're happy. I will be, I said, a calm certainty in my voice. I'll be happy because I'm taking control. Not because of anyone else. And you need to do the same. A long silence stretched between us. The city hummed quietly around our footsteps, the mist curling in the lamplight. I realized that the power had shifted. I wasn't broken by her choices. I wasn't desperate, angry, or weak. I was free. I guess this is goodbye, she said, her voice trembling but steady. It's not a goodbye in hate, I replied. It's a goodbye in understanding. In growth. For both of us. She looked at me one last time, a mix of sadness and relief in her eyes, then turned and walked away. I watched her leave, feeling the strange combination of loss and liberation. I exhaled, letting the tension leave my shoulders. The confrontation hadn't been about punishment, revenge, or rekindling anything. It had been about acknowledging the truth, facing it, and walking away stronger. I turned down the street, my steps firm, my heart steady. The night was cool, quiet, and endless in possibilities. I had achieved control, not over her, not over the past, but over myself. And for the first time in a long time, I felt untouchable, not because I was invincible, but because I had chosen my own path, free from the chains of heartbreak and regret. I whispered to the night, barely audible, I'm ready for my life. And with that, I walked forward, leaving the shadows of our past behind, carrying only lessons, growth, and the quiet strength of a heart that had finally learned its own power. I sat at the cafe Liam had been insisting I try for weeks. Steam rose from the cup in front of me, curling into the chilly morning air. The city felt different today, quieter somehow, as if it knew I had changed. You look content, Liam said, sliding into the seat across from me. I haven't seen you like this in months. I am, I admitted, smiling faintly. It's strange. I can think about everything, her, the past, even the pain, and not feel trapped anymore. You've really come a long way, Liam said, nodding. I was worried you'd carry all that anger forever. I almost did, I said quietly. But I realized something important. The revenge I wanted, the anger, the jealousy, it didn't make me stronger. It made me smaller. The real victory was over myself. Liam leaned back, studying me. So, you're finally free of her. I am, I said, though my voice held no bitterness. And it's not just about her. It's about me. About reclaiming the life I almost lost while waiting for something that wasn't mine to hold. He smiled, raising his coffee cup. To new beginnings. I clinked my cup against his. To new beginnings. Later that afternoon, I walked through the park, a place Emily and I used to visit. Memories flickered. Our laughter, our secret jokes, the quiet moments I once thought would last forever. I felt the familiar ache, but it was distant, softened by the clarity I'd earned. I heard a voice call my name, and I turned to see her, Emily. She looked happy, but there was a subtle tension in her shoulders, a quiet weight beneath her smile. She approached carefully. Michael, she said softly. It's good to see you. Emily, I replied, keeping my tone calm, steady. You look well. I am mostly, she said, glancing toward the children playing nearby. Life's complicated, but I'm managing. I nodded. I've seen that. I'm glad you're handling things. She hesitated, then asked, Do you hate me? I shook my head. Hate doesn't fit anymore. I cared too much for that too long. I won't lie, it hurt. It still stings sometimes. But hate? No. I've moved past it. I've moved forward. Her lips curved slightly, but her eyes betrayed something else. Regret, maybe sadness, maybe relief. I wanted to see you one last time, she admitted, to make sure we were okay, even if we never speak again. I studied her for a moment, the woman I loved and lost standing in front of me, real and human. We're okay, I said finally. We will be, in our own ways. And that's enough. She nodded, tears brimming. I'm sorry for everything. Truly. I know, I said softly. I don't need apologies anymore. They wouldn't change what happened. What matters is what we do next. For ourselves. Her smile faded slightly. You've grown so much. And you'll continue to, I said gently. I hope life gives you the clarity you needed all along. There was a silence, comfortable and final. She lingered for a moment, then turned and walked away, leaving me alone with the sound of the city and the wind in the trees. I watched her go, feeling only peace, a strange lightness in my chest. Later, I met Liam and a few friends at the gallery opening he had dragged me to. Art surrounded us, laughter and conversations mingling like music. I felt present in a way I hadn't in years, truly alive in my own skin. You're different, said Mia, a colleague who had become a friend. There's confidence now, but not arrogance. You're calm. I've had time to learn, I said with a small smile. Time to let go, to rebuild, to choose what matters. And what matters now? Liam asked, nudging me. I looked around the room, seeing friends, laughter, art, life. Now, I matter. And the people I let in, the choices I make, the life I live, those matter. Not the past. Not regrets. Only what I build from here. We toasted quietly, the clinking of glasses ringing like a small victory. I felt a sense of completeness, a quiet joy that didn't need anyone else to validate it. Later, walking home, I passed Emily's street once more. I saw her in the window, laughing softly with Mark and the children. A pang of old emotion rose, but it was fleeting, easily controlled. I didn't need her happiness to define mine anymore. I didn't need to interfere or watch too closely. I had my own life, my own dawn. I'm free, I whispered to the night, letting the words settle into the cool air. Free of the past, free of pain, free of her shadow. I am my own person. I paused at the corner, looking toward the horizon. The sun was setting, painting the sky in golds and pinks. It felt symbolic somehow. Endings and beginnings blended, light spilling into shadows. I breathed deeply, feeling the weight of months lift from my shoulders. Heartbreak, betrayal, obsession, anger, they were all behind me. I had survived, I had grown, I had reclaimed my life. I smiled faintly, a small, quiet smile that came from deep inside. I'm ready, I said softly. Ready for whatever comes next. With one last glance at the fading sunset, I turned and walked forward, steps confident, heart steady. The future was uncertain, yes, but I was no longer afraid of it. I had learned the hardest lesson of all. The only person I needed to conquer was myself. And now I had.